All right, I am back. And before the 2026 season gets here, and it is coming fast, I cannot believe that we are a mere weeks away from the season. I wanted to take a look at a game from 2025 involving the Seattle Seahawks, the Super Bowl champions, but more particularly, one play that happened in that game, which I believe was the Kickstarter for their entire run. If things had gone differently, they probably don't even make it to the big game in my opinion. So what play am I talking about? Well, let's rewind.
Sure, they're present in this Seattle offense.
Wait, too far. Here we go.
Last time they went to Cooper Kupp, brought him over in motion, used JSN as a decoy. Now they got JSN off to the right, lined up one-on-one against Forbes. Safety cheating over there.
Does it go that way? 3 receivers to the left. Quick throw here and into a lot of traffic and in.
December 18th, 2025, Week 16. The Seattle Seahawks are in the midst of a comeback against their rival, the Los Angeles Rams, in a battle for first place in the NFC West and the conference as a whole. This was one of the wildest plays in football history, something so unimaginably lucky we may never see it again. But as crazy as the play itself was, what if I told you it was the catalyst for one of the biggest butterfly effects in recent NFL history? Join me as we witness how one massive stroke of luck led to football immortality. To fully understand the effect of this play, we first have to set the stakes and establish how we got here in the first place. Heading into their Week 16 matchup, the Seahawks and the Rams were both sitting at 11-3. They weren't just tied for first place in the NFC West, they were tied for the number 1 seed in the entire conference. To add more flair to that, the team that would have lost probably would have lost their chance of earning the 1 seed at all, effectively making this a game a match for all the marbles. Back to our two parties. In Week 11, the Rams had already gotten the best of Seattle in an ugly 21-19 defensive battle. Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions in this game, and the media was starting to stir. People weren't just questioning him. In turn, they were questioning Seattle's legitimacy as a true contender. At this point, the Darnold narrative was a tale of two halves. In the first 5 games of the season, Sam was on fire, completing over 70% of his passes for 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. His quarterback rating of 73.6 had him in early MVP talks, believe it or not. But in the next 5, the wheels started to wobble. The yardage stayed up at 1,300, but the efficiency really started to plummet. Only 8 touchdowns, half of which came in a single game, against 8 interceptions. His quarterback rating plummeted to 64.2. In Seattle, they still went 7-3 in that span, but the vibe was clear at this point. They were winning in spite of their quarterback and not because of him. On the other side of the field, Los Angeles was on the complete opposite path. The Rams started the year with some new team inconsistencies, evidenced by a sluggish 14-9 win over Houston and a heartbreaking 33-26 loss to Philly. And it all came to a head in Week 5 and an overtime collapse against the 49ers where 2 late fumbles and a red-hot Mac Jones, for some reason, snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. But after that, a switch flipped. In the next 5 games, the Rams outscored their opponents 149-65. That is a strong 29 points per game on offense and a suffocating 13 points per game on defense. Matthew Stafford was now the frontrunner for MVP, completing 67% of his passes for over 1,000 yards with 16 touchdowns and 0, I repeat, 0 interceptions in that stretch, and his quarterback rating of 71.4 was at the top of the league. While both teams were on different paths, they remained neck and neck in the standings. The Rams arrived in Seattle with the league's number 1 scoring offense and a 13 personnel bully ball scheme that revitalized running the football. In Seattle, countered with the league's number 1 scoring defense, a unit that hadn't allowed a 100-yard rusher in 24 consecutive games. Let me repeat that.
No, you're not. Hey, Future Garrett here. My math was slightly off. It's 23 consecutive games, not 24. I am so very sorry. I'll let Past Me take over now. See ya.
That is absolutely mind-boggling. But that being said, the stage was set, The rematch at Lumen Field wasn't just going to be physical. It wasn't going to just be hard fought. It was going to be an instant classic.
What? Why is it not running?
We don't have a transition here.
We don't have one? What do you mean we don't have one?
Unfortunately, I really don't know why, but I guess it's not in the budget. I don't know. We just don't have one right now.
That's a load of baloney. All you gotta do is do this. And you just add a little bit of this.
The Rams started with the ball and on their opening drive, immediately put Kyron Williams on the forefront. However, in Seahawks territory, they failed to convert on 4th down, and Seattle drove right down the field on their opening drive and scored a touchdown to take the lead. That would be their only point scored in the entire first half. Their next 3 drives resulted in a punt, another punt, and then on the 3rd drive right before halftime, disaster struck. Darnold found Cooper Kupp over the middle of the field and he fumbled the football. The Rams recovered it, and having scored 13 unanswered points at this time, they were in firm control of this game. In the second half, things started to look up a little bit. Running back Kenneth Walker ran for a 55-yard touchdown, giving Seattle the lead. But the Rams offense responded, scoring a field goal, marking our 3rd lead change in the game at this point. And here is where Seattle's train completely derailed. Sam Darnold threw a horrible interception to corner Josh Wallace and ran it back to the 1-yard line. The Rams would immediately score, of course, making this a 10-point swing. Things went from bad to worse as the Rams scored on their next drive and took a 30-14 fourth quarter lead. It's important to remember that this was a top 3 defense in the NFL, and before now, they were being challenged. Sure, they were allowing field goals and not touchdowns for the most part, but they allowed the Rams to dominate time of possession. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't force stops and get off the field. The Rams were attacking them where this defense hung their hat, and that hat was currently collecting dust on the ground. To put a rotten cherry on top of the whole thing, yes, it still somehow gets worse. On the next drive for Seattle, they're inside the Rams' 10-yard line, right there ready to score, and Sam Darnold threw a second interception, this time to defensive lineman Kobe Turner, and down by 16 with less than 10 minutes to go, all hope seemed lost. The Seahawks offense couldn't get out of its own way, and their defense wasn't faring much better. While they were getting torched on the ground, they were also getting torched through the air because Puka Nacua was going bonkers. He had over 220 yards in this game when it was all said and done. Absolutely phenomenal performance by him. But back to Seattle, they were down and the odds were not looking good. But as you will see, they definitely weren't out.
Those years in Detroit, obviously.
Well, yeah.
I mean, but, 21 just because they won the Super Bowl. But that regular season wasn't fantastic.
That puts us here, the start of the comeback. LA is on their 15-yard line, ready to punt the ball away, and the guy they're punting it to? Allow me to introduce you to one of the most integral players of our story, Rashid Shaheed, a wide receiver drafted by the New Orleans Saints and spending his first 4.5 years there before Seattle traded for him at the trade deadline. Seattle got hit with a wave of injuries to their receiver room at this time, including their kick returner, Derek Young, but they also needed a better return specialist, and Shaheed being one of the best in the league helps quite a bit. Before his arrival, Seattle's return game was flashy, but very inconsistent, and Rashid Shaheed fixes that problem. He's an electric threat that teams have to account for, and with his arrival, Seattle's special teams unit blossomed. Better field position, more explosion, and after week 14, more touchdowns. So you can see the impact that he's made so far, and when his team needed a spark down by 16 with 8 minutes to go, he did this.
Shaheed has to run up, makes the catch at his own 43, starts up the middle. Now he has a gap on the left side 40, turns upfield, there he goes, 20, 15, 10, 5, holy catfish, touchdown Seahawks! Rashid Shaheed does it again. Just when the Seahawks need a big special teams play, they get it.
And after that,
Kupp sprints in motion. Darnold throws, and it will be in there for the 2 points. Kupp.
within seconds, a game that seemingly had its door closed was busted right back open, and Seattle once again had life. This game was not over yet, and Seattle sent a message no matter how it's going to end, they would not go down without a fight, and boy did they. On the Rams' next drive, Seattle's defense forced its second straight 3-and-out. These were the first punts Seattle forced all game and their first stop since the Rams' opening drive. Their top-tier defense finally looked the part. As for the offense, it was their time to take advantage. Sam Darnold and company marched onto the field, and on the first play, Rashid Shaheed, remember him, we just talked about him, did this.
Start this drive from the 43. Shaheed. Flag is thrown. So Shaheed with another good run, but. Where's it?
A 31-yard end around. What an incredible call, honestly, by Clint Kubiak. But it was a huge play. Absolutely explosive. And then on the next play, the very next snap, Sam Darnold made a big play of his own.
3. Rolling left. Throwing back the other way. He's got a man. Caught. Barner. Touchdown.
Less than 2 minutes of game time had passed since Sam Darnold threw his second pick. And now Seattle had the game within 2 points. 14 unanswered points in the blink of an eye. A game in which the Rams had a dang near 99% chance to win. 99%. Can you believe that? Absolutely insane. And also a game in which the Seahawks were 0-172 all time, down by 15 points in the fourth quarter. That's a real stat, by the way. Absolutely insane. This game was finally in their grasp, and they had the momentum, but they still needed those 2 points to tie it up. The job is not done yet. And that finally brings us back here to the play this entire video is centered around.
Incomplete. Man, there was a whole traffic jam on the left side. Who was he going to at that point?
In real time, no one knew what happened. Sam Darnold threw the ball, no one caught it, and it landed in the end zone. Zach Charbonnet casually picked the ball up, and for all everyone saw, it was an incomplete pass. The Seahawks were still down and needed another stop to complete their comeback. Then the replay showed something interesting. The ball bounced off a Rams player's helmet, which begged the question, where was Sam Darnold's pass headed? Had it been going forward, it would have been ruled incomplete, but the pass went backward, meaning the ball was still live even though it bounced forward. After video review, it was ruled a successful 2-point try, and just like that, the game was tied. After everything that has happened, we have ourselves a tie game for the very first time. Unfortunately, this was kind of the peak of the game, in regulation at least. The rest of the fourth quarter was mostly uneventful. After exchanging some punts and a missed field goal by Harrison Mevis, that was huge, the final 6 minutes came and went, and the game went to overtime. The Rams started with the ball, scored a touchdown from Puka Nacua, who else, and took the lead. Seattle marched right back down the field, scored a touchdown of their own, and went for another 2-point conversion.
They changed the formation. 3 to the right. Barner in motion. Darnold throws. Caught for the 2 points. Eric Saubert. They throw to a guy who hadn't made a catch.
They risked it all right then and there, and they got it. They went for the win and stole it right from under LA's noses, and with that, the Seattle Seahawks were victors. They were first in their division. They held the number 1 seed in the NFC. They were in firm control of their destiny. As we know, Seattle would win their next 2 games, get the number 1 seed, They dominated the 49ers in the divisional round where Rashid Shaheed scored a touchdown on the opening kickoff. That was absolutely nuts. Took down the Rams again in the NFC Championship game and then ultimately beat the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 60. If Charbonnet doesn't pick the ball up, if Darnold's pass was a few inches off, if the defensive player was a few inches in another spot, if the refs didn't catch it and still ruled it an incomplete pass, all of what I just said may not have happened if it wasn't for this play. But that begs another question. If that 2-point conversion wasn't successful, what could have happened? All right, I'm not just here to say that history would be changed if Seattle didn't score here. I want to actually think about what are some scenarios that could have happened instead. And I got a couple for you here. Seattle loses, they're forced to take the 5th seed, and they face Carolina in the wild card round, which I think they probably would have won. But Carolina did give the Rams quite the scare, and they would have faced the Bears on the road in the next round. Another team that went really close with the Rams. They went to overtime in that game, and even if the roles between these teams had switched 1-for-1, they would have faced the Rams in the NFC title game on the road, which, to me, if that were the case, I believe LA would have won. In another scenario, they lose to LA and lose to the 49ers in Week 17, dropping to the 6th seed. The 49ers were sitting right behind LA and Seattle at 10-4, and because San Francisco had taken the first head-to-head matchup in Week 1, Seattle was effectively half a game up, not a full game. So that's a big, important factor to remember here. And Seattle would have faced Philly in the wildcard round. That would have been tougher than facing the 49ers for sure. And even if they had won in the same scenario, they would have faced the Rams in the divisional round on the road. And once again, like I said earlier, I believe the Rams win. Let's also look at the reality of Seattle's run. What actually happened? They faced an injured 49ers team, a divisional opponent they had beat 2 weeks earlier, and it was the best opponent they could have gotten. Considering the injuries and where they affected San Fran's matchup with Seattle specifically, made it lopsided from the very start. And then facing the Rams one more time, it's not an easy task, but it's a divisional opponent. They were at home, and to me, that made the difference. And lastly, they were going up against the Patriots team that, to be honest, didn't look that impressive in their playoff run. Their offense was a shell of itself, and their defense was throwing its back out, trying to carry it. But I'm not trying to discredit or delegitimize Seattle's Super Bowl, absolutely not. But the factors out of their control were pretty darn favorable, adding on to the crazy effect that this 2-point conversion play had. Now, that's not to say that this was some easy cupcake run where, of course, they were going to win it all. No, they had factors that they had to control, which led to their success, none being bigger than their turnover margin. Their offense, now get ready when I say this, buckle your seatbelts, didn't commit a single turnover their entire playoff run. Zero, zilch, nada. A team in which turnovers were a big weakness on this team, they were completely eliminated. Absolutely masterful coaching here. And they also minimized penalties. No, they didn't, moron. Once more, I'm spreading misinformation. They committed the 3rd most penalties in the playoffs. This is dumb. I am so sorry for stopping the video. Here's past me to wrap it up. They were efficient running the ball, and also, another big stat, they were much better in the red zone. This one might even be crazier. They jumped from 54% to 72%, which for perspective is a jump from 21st to 1st. 21st to 1st. Oh my goodness, the way this team turned up in the playoffs was just nuts. The Seahawks did a ton of the little things right, and also they never made the big wrongs. So that's a sign of a prepared, committed, and well-coached football team that 100% earned their ring.
George Holani's the running back. Fake to him. Darnold to the end zone. Garner's got a touchdown. She's still here. It's 3rd and 5. He's trying to step up. He lost the football. It's free, and Seattle has recovered.
The 2025 Seattle Seahawks were a really fun team.
And the fact that they were the ones to eventually come out on top in a season where no one knew who was going to win it all is exactly why the entire season was a blast. Many things had to go their way. Many times they had to create their own breaks, but one thing remains certain: the smallest ripples can create the biggest tides. And in a game of inches, sometimes all it takes is one wild, illogical, oddly beautiful moment to shift the entire trajectory of a franchise, turning one exciting season into a historic title run. This was the genesis of a champion. And that's a wrap on today's video. Thank you so much for making it to the end. Great freaking job. Thank you guys for watching this video and taking your time to really look at this piece of work that I made. This is the coolest thing I ever made. This is the best thing I ever made. I absolutely enjoyed making this video. It was an absolute blast. I am very sorry that I was not transparent and I was not very communicative over this past month, a little over a month, that I really haven't posted anything. So I appreciate your patience. I appreciate your support. And with that being said, if you really enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and share this video. Please share this video to as many people as you know. I want this video to blow up. I really want people to see this. This is the coolest thing I ever made, like I said. So if you could do that and really help me out, I would appreciate it so very much. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna have record predictions for the regular season out ASAP. It's gonna be whenever it comes out. It will come out before the season, I promise you. I guarantee you that. And then we can go into the season and figure out what we're gonna do there. But for now, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys really have enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.